15-minute fantasy football podcast. I'm Paul Stoltz, former professional kicker who spent way too much time in the offensive film room.
And I'm Anthony LaFurie, an award-winning sports reporter whose Dallas Cowboys did not lose this weekend.
Nothing like a bye week to get you back on track, Anthony. Now, in the meantime, my New York Giants, 2-game win streak, half a game out of the division title in the NFC East.
And more importantly, you're one more win away from doing what Shannon Sharpe called impossible this season, an NFC East team winning 3 games in a row.
Well done. Look, we could win the division at 4-12. I'll take that.
Mathematically possible at this point.
We are approaching week 10 in fantasy football. That means for most people, the trade deadline is fast approaching. So we've put together a more comprehensive section where we're going to talk about many people that you may want to buy low on, sell high on as you get into the playoffs. Real quick, at FCK Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram. If you have not already hit the subscribe button, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts, please go ahead and do so you get that notification every time we put on a new episode. Lastly, please share with a friend. Also, 12 o'clock noon on Sunday Eastern Time, Anthony and I will be live to answer all of your start-sit questions. And before we get to our trade targets, Anthony and I are first going to come with you with our top 5 waiver wire ads going into week 10. Anthony will give us his 5 through 2, then me, and then we'll each hit with our number 1. But real quick before we start, I just want to make mention that we are recording this before the Monday night football game. So we don't know yet how Ryan Nall is going to do, how Darnell Mooney is going to do, and how Lamar Miller is going to do. So make sure that you use your own discretion there. Anthony, hit him with your 5 through 2.
Okay, real quick, just a super quick honorable mention. Alex Smith, just because he gets Cincinnati and Dallas the next 2 weeks, great bye week injury fill-in, and you're going to hate the rest of this list, though, Paul. Number 5, your favorite quarterback in the world, Phillip Rivers. I know talent-wise, but listen, over the next 6 weeks, he has matchups including Green Bay and 2 with Houston. So they're pretty decent value there. Number 4, Nyheim Hines. Dude, he scored 20 points in 2 of the last 3 games. He's the pass-catching back. I don't know, worth a shot. Number 3, and this one's going to be interesting, and I'd love to hear your take on it a little bit down the line, is Josh Reynolds. 12 points in 3 of the last 4 games, and more importantly, he's seen his targets go up from 5 to 8 to 9 to 10 in that stretch. Really like him as a depth guy, spot starter. And number 2, Wayne Gallman. I honestly believe he's the best running back of the lot with the Giants. And he's the best when they have to play from behind, which outside of this last week here, they've been doing more often than not.
Yeah, Wayne Gallman's looked pretty good. I've been impressed with him. I left him off my list only because it's a name we've spoke of a few times, but I'm going to repeat a couple names as well. I try not to repeat. I try to give people some new stuff. Josh Reynolds was my single honorable mention because of what you just said. 8+ targets in his last 3 games. They are working more 3 wide receiver sets than they have in the last 2 years. Even with Brandon Cooks when they had him there, Reynolds looked pretty good. I kind of like that on your list, Anthony. That was a good one. All right, my number 5 is Pittman. I was not so high on him coming out of college. I thought he was slow, but he's 6'4". He's got a big body. He's actually a pretty good route runner. Rivers seemed to generate a pretty good rapport with him. I think he's worth a scoop. I think he might be the number 1 receiver on that team moving forward. I like him better than Zach Pascal or T.Y. or Marcus Johnson. Mm-hmm. Number 4 is a player that I don't think is very talented, but is in a great situation, and that's Kalyn Bellage. He has, until Eckler comes back, he is going to get the majority of carries. Joshua Kelly is what you and I said he was preseason, and he is not very good. Number 3, I've got Salvan Ahmed. Now, I know Gaskin could be taken off IR at any time, and Matt Breida could come back as well, but Ahmed's pretty good. He's worth a streaming start here, and that is something that's hard to come by from a running back perspective. My number 2 is a player that I've now been touting for 3 weeks, and I have to repeat him because I can't say it enough. Jalen Rieger, tough matchup last week against Bradbury, which is why he only got targeted 7 times. Bradbury is one of the top 3 cornerbacks in all of football. Jalen Rieger is going to go off moving forward.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting list. I like Pittman out of all the guys you've mentioned the most. To me, I think he has the most long-term upside that he could become the number 1 target in Indianapolis. Another guy you mentioned on your list is Jalen Rieger. I would have included him, but I included him last week. It's a guy you've really loved the last few weeks. I probably would have cheated and put him back on the list had Wentz not been Carson Wentz this last week. But I love his talent, love his speed. I mean, you got to remember, the Birds actually drafted him in front of Justin Jefferson. So they have to see something in him. Something's got to be there, Paul.
Yeah, and I think we saw that a little bit the last couple of weeks. He's led the team in targets for a couple of weeks now. And who is your number 1 waiver wire pickup of the week?
Well, I'm going to go back to the Paul Stoltz well and go with your guy, Damien Harris. Just a couple quick little factoids about him. Every game since week 3, dude, he's had double-digit carries. Okay, that's number 1. Mm-hmm. Number 2, on Sunday Night Football, big national game, feature game of the week, 22 for 121 yards. That is a monster game, and somehow he's only owned in 44% of leagues, Paul. It makes no sense. By the end of Wednesday, he needs to be owned in 100% of leagues.
Yeah, I've been absolutely all over him for probably 4 or 5 weeks now. He was somebody that I actually put on my sleeper list preseason because I truly think even with Sony Michel there, he is the best back in that system. And we've seen that now for 4 straight weeks. He's been over 5 yards a carry every game he's started now. There are only a few running backs in the NFL that have done that, one of which being Dalvin Cook. From a skill perspective, Damien Harris, the comparison for me is Mark Ingram. He is not super fast, but he looks fast when he gets the ball because he goes from 0 to 100 really quickly. Mark Ingram seeks out contact a little more than Harris does, but they have the same burst through the hole, and their vision is fantastic. You almost never see them with a negative carry. In fact, Damien Harris's 2nd negative carry of the year was last night. All right, Ant, my number 1, I'm going to go to the Patriots. Well, Jakobi Meyers.
The law firm. Let's go.
Jakobi Meyers is the best route runner on that team. He is in the right place at the right time. And the reason I think that is he's a former college quarterback. We saw the arm last night. He threw a touchdown pass, but he knows how to read a defense and he knows where to sit down in the in the right zone, in the seam, and he is always open for Cam Newton.
Yeah, Paul, I absolutely love that pick. I'm going to go out on a limb and take it even further and say he is going to be the Patriot pass catcher to own for the rest of the year. I don't know exactly when Edelman is going to come back, but even when he does, we're not Matt Patricia. It's 2020. It's not 2010. It's not 2015. It's 2020. He's younger. He's faster. He's better. He's going to win us games.
If you guys have a question on anybody else that maybe is or isn't on this list, go ahead and leave a comment on YouTube or hit us up at FCK Podcast. We are happy to answer your questions. All right, Ant, on to the trade target portion. Part of the feedback that we've gotten from you guys is that you love the analysis, but you want more. In other words, you want us to discuss more players as part of this section. And given that it's week 10 in the trade deadline for a lot of you, we're going to hit you with about 10 to 12 guys, rapid fire, and give you our thoughts on whether or not it's somebody you should be picking up because they have a good long-term prognosis in the league, or if it's somebody you should sell high on right now. So, Ant, when you get someone that you say, hey, this is someone I should trade for, you say, go for it. And if it's someone that you think you should sell high on, you should say punt it. All right? So are you punting or are you going for it on Ezekiel Elliott?
Oh, it's actually a much tougher question than you think, Paul, because he's really been hot garbage the last couple of weeks. His line is a mess. His ankle is wonky. I'm hoping the bye week is going to help him. I think your answer depends on your situation. I hate to use that cop out, but if you're 6-4, 7-3, or better, I think it's worth taking a gamble and making a move. If you're worse than that, 5-5, 4-6, or worse, it might be time to cash out. Tyler Biatish, who's emerged as the starting center, he's going to be out for a few weeks. They're going to kick Looney back out to center as a result. I don't, it's very, very precarious right now. I actually had him for you as well. So what would you recommend?
Yeah, so I'm going for it only if I have two other running backs that I'm comfortable with, right? So if my third running back, for example, is Wayne Gallman or Salvan Ahmed or, even Damien Harris, who I do feel pretty comfortable with but has a pretty difficult schedule, I'm going to package one of them with a wide receiver 3 and see if somebody is desperate to bite or is just totally given up on Zeke.
Yeah, that's a smart way to go about doing it. I mean, if you can trade Goldman and a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3, I don't care if you're 2-8, you make that trade and take your shot. Like, honestly,
Yeah, he's a lottery
uh,
ticket at this point. All right, man. Michael Thomas, punting or going for it?
punt, punt. I'm sorry. I just that situation's a mess. If they were like getting along there, I would be more inclined to. Although one glimmer of hope, Paul, as much as I'm sorry to say it, I don't know if you've heard the news with Drew Brees. He's going to be out for a while. Maybe Hamish Jameis forces the ball more down the field could help him. That's the best I could think of at the moment, though.
Yeah, I mean, same thing that I said with Zeke, right? He's a bit of a lottery ticket, probably a little bit more expensive market value than Zeke is. But if somebody's trying to trade him, trying to get rid of him, I mean, if you got two wide receivers that you're comfortable with, you could go for it. I like Jameis Winston a little bit more than you do because Jameis will just fire the ball to his best receivers, which is why Mike Evans had such a good year last year.
Yeah. How about this guy, Kareem Hunt?
So Kareem Hunt has done better when Nick Chubb is playing, but I think Kareem Hunt owners have known that. So I mean, I'll punt off of a good game, but I think he's kind of at market value. We all kind of know what he is. He's 10 to 12 carries a game, 5 catches.
How about Marvin Jones? He had that monster game this week. What do you do?
That he did. I am punting on Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones never strings together 3 and 4 consecutive good games.
Hmm.
Look, and he's also 2 touchdown dependent for my liking. Golladay should get healthy in the next couple of weeks. TJ Hawkinson will be worked more into the offense. Danny Amendola was hurt. He's going to get more targets as he comes back. I think you sell high right now and punt on Marvin Jones.
Here's one. He's been frustrating me all year, so I think you'll give a better take than I will, and that's Hollywood Brown. You knew it before I even said it from the smirk.
When you said frustrating you all year, I knew who you were going with. You made the point a couple weeks ago that you felt like Hollywood Brown is the next Tyreek Hill, right? And Matthew Berry has said that as well. And my response was he's not the same route runner that Tyreek Hill is. Tyreek Hill was a big play gadget guy for 2 years and then just refined his route running. Marquise Brown is not doing a good job of recognizing the coverages he's in and lending enough support to Lamar Jackson. Granted, he is seeing a lot of double teams, a lot of safety help, but I don't think it's worth trading for, giving up something on Hollywood Brown right now. Is he still going to get that 60-yard touchdown catch at some point? Yeah, sure. But I'm not willing to trade for it right now.
He's Lee Evans, basically.
Nice.
Lee Evans.
Nice. All right,
That's
I'm going to give you one that I think I know the answer. We're starting to figure out what is Antonio Brown now. What do you think he is? Is he somebody you're punting on, or is he somebody you're going for?
I'm going for it with him. I like what he's shown us the first couple of weeks. I think the chemistry is only going to get better with Brady. I think the rust is going to go away further. He's not going to be prime Antonio Brown, but 70% Antonio Brown is worth owning.
No, I think he looks good. He doesn't look like he did in Pittsburgh, but he's worth owning right now. Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'll hit you with my last guy real quick because we're running out of time here, and that's Hunter Henry. Up and down all year.
That's a tough one. I'm going to go for it with Hunter Henry. His target share was down. Herbert's been going to the wide receivers more and more lately. But I think he's a little undervalued right now. Hunter Henry owners are a little down on him. I think he's worth picking up. He'll see more targets as the wide receivers get more attention from Herbert.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. As a Hunter Henry owner, it's pretty funny because when I reached the point where I'm like, boy, I'm done with Hunter Henry. I can't deal with him anymore. He goes out and has a nice game. He had a nice game yesterday. Yeah. I forget what he did off the top of my head, but I was like, that is adequate tight end one production, like where I'm not going to look to cut bait. I'll hold for a week, but very, very frustrating all year. He's very up and down, like I said.
I've got two more for you. There were two of the best receivers coming out of last year's college class, and they're really the same exact player, DK Metcalf and AJ Brown.
Okay. Metcalf, I'm going for it with, so long as the asking price isn't completely ludicrous. AJ Brown, I've never been a big AJ Brown fan. I believe he dropped a couple of pretty sure touchdown catches, including an early one on Thursday Night Football that really would have put Indianapolis behind the eight ball. Metcalf is just a freaking monster. I really, really like him.
Yeah, so I feel similarly to you. Metcalf is a go for it. Only on the basis of that, many DK Metcalf owners are down on him right now after that last game where he was smothered by Jalen Ramsey. He will be fine from here on forward. AJ Brown is somebody I'm looking to trade if I'm getting good value for him. I'm punting. He's got at Baltimore, at Indy in his next 2 weeks. If he's got good value in your league, I might trade him and try to get another running back out of it. Well, that'll do it for the players we're here to discuss, but please hit us up, whether it's on Instagram or here on YouTube in the comments section, to answer any players we didn't discuss. Happy to help you individually if that works for you. At FCK Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram. Please give us a share, whether that's on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe. That way you get notified of any of our further videos. And good stuff today. Everybody, thanks for tuning in.